Healing from narcissistic abuse can take a very long time, especially when you don't know where to go, where to start, who to even talk to. And that's why most people turn to YouTube and watch videos where you only get so far watching videos about narcissistic people. And don't get me wrong, it's very valuable insight, but it's not going to take you from a place of being broken to a place of being healed. Not like the 3 pillars of your healing that I need to talk about in this message. The 3 pillars of your healing is a lot more than just watching videos about a narcissistic person. It's the actual pillars that I've used in my own life to heal, to go from being broken and confused by narcissistic family members and in-laws into more of a complete, fulfilled individual that is able to be here and share this topic with you right now. So let's talk about what the 3 pillars of healing from narcissistic abuse is and what it looks like in your own life. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before I do continue, I want to let you know that I'm here to support you. Down in the description box, you'll find access for one-on-one appointments with me. I take telephone calls and video calls through Zoom, FaceTime, and WhatsApp. Also, I do have the private Royal We membership, which gives you daily support, not only by me, but a growing community of people all over the world. I have a workout program that's custom made just for you, which is a part of one of the pillars of healing, by the way. There's fellowship once a week and so much more, all in the privacy of a members-only app, so you don't have to worry about your narcissistic husband, wife, brother, sister, whomever paying attention to what you're talking about. It's all in a private members-only app. So head on down there, check out the Royal We private membership. Now let's get into the 3 pillars of your healing journey. The first pillar that we need to talk about in your healing journey is that of understanding your coping strategies. Your coping strategies. Your coping strategy in life is super important when it comes to healing from not only narcissistic abuse, but any traumatizing event in your life. Most people like to stay away from the term coping strategies because it has some kind of a faulty definition to it. People think of coping as being drinking, smoking, sexing, whatever else out there. That's not coping. Not even close. That's what narcissistically abusive people do. They drink and do drugs and do all kinds of crazy stuff and say that they're coping from their whatever childhood upbringing, whatever their nonsense, their excuse is. That's not what coping is. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoy a good cigar from time to time, and I'll also enjoy some whiskey, but it's not a part of my coping strategy. It's just soothing. It can be soothing to have a cigar every now and then. It could be soothing to have a glass of wine. It could be soothing to do these things, but don't call it coping. Coping is actually a very real strategy that we need to pay attention to. Coping is something that is strategized with you when you see a psychologist or when you see a counselor. This is something that they want to form with you, is a coping strategy. And that's because the definition of coping is actually overcoming. Coping is something that helps you to overcome, which means true coping strategy is a strategy that implements a new challenge in your life. Something that can not only challenge you, but can build you up, can bring you to a place of excitement, can give you something to look forward to, can move you forward and progress you in life. That's what coping is, and that's what you need coming out of narcissistic abuse. Watching YouTube videos and learning about narcissism is not a coping strategy. Yes, it's going to inform you of how narcissists operate, but it's not going to challenge you. Yes, it's going to give you insight into your toxic narcissistic husband and wife and family members and in-laws. It's going to share with you the understanding of their cruel behavior and nature, but it's not going to take you from a broken person into a stronger version of yourself. Only good coping strategies as one pillar can do that. I'm going to give you some examples of my personal coping strategies so you can get an understanding of what this actually looks like. So my number one coping strategy today happens to be my motorcycle. I know, right? Crazy. But think about this for a moment. I hop on my motorcycle. It consumes my biochemistry while building within me an awareness, a hypervigilance, as I have to look all around me. I have to have eyes all over my head. Why? Because I'm not protected when I'm on the road. I don't have 4 doors of protection around me on a motorcycle, and I'm surrounded by drivers that may or may not see me, that may or may not care, that may be texting on their phone while they're driving, or yelling or arguing with somebody in the seat next to them. Not my problem, but I have to be aware of that. So it's making me stronger and more aware at the same time as honing in all of my biochemistry, my adrenaline, my serotonin levels. So this is what makes riding a motorcycle a fantastic coping strategy, because it's helping me to become a better, stronger version of myself while bringing excitement into my life. Let's talk about some other coping strategies that I find super important and that you might find important too. Another good coping strategy is working out on a daily basis. Consistently exercising, working out, lifting weights. This is another important one to me. This is where you can take your anger and your aggression out, but while you're taking it out, you're building yourself up. You're overcoming the anger. You're overcoming the aggression. You're overcoming by straining your muscles and building them, making yourself stronger, building your endurance, building your energy levels. Do you see how you're overcoming? You're becoming a stronger, better version of yourself. The thing with coping is that it has to be something that is making you better. It's a progression of yourself. It's a strategy that makes you a better version of yourself. Now, it doesn't have to just be motorcycle riding and lifting weights. It could be as simple as walking dogs. You can walk dogs, and that's a great coping strategy. You can travel more. That's a great coping strategy. Anything that helps you to overcome. What types of coping strategies are you bringing into your life? The next pillar that we need to talk about is your personality. Your personality, understanding your personality. You are not going to get very far in your healing journey until you come face to face with your personality. This is radical self-acceptance. We all have different personalities. There are personalities out there that are mean and rough and aggressive, and many of you have dealt with these types of people, and sometimes we can call them bullies and narcissistically abusive people, which a lot of times they are. We have to stop this, oh, everybody's okay, I'm going to hang out with everybody, I'm going to try to be friends with everybody. That's not going to serve you, especially when you're trying to heal from narcissistic abuse. If you are dealing with bullies in your narcissistically abusive family, the last thing you want to do is have friends in your life who are also bullies. If you have a mouthy, arrogant, rude, cussing, name-calling husband or wife, the last thing you want is friends that are doing that as well. It's going to constantly keep you in this triggered place because your personality is being exposed to you, and your personality is not like that. You don't need to be around that. Many of us fail to get out of toxic relationships because we fail to accept our own personality. We have a difficult time saying, look, that's not who I am. I don't want to be around the name calling. I don't want to be around the cussing. I don't want to be around your fighting. I don't want to be around the hostility. I don't want to be around that. It's toxic. It's a waste of time. It does absolutely no good. When you get to that place, it's because you understand that's your personality, and now you don't need to be around other people who are doing that. You accept that their personality is different than yours. Coming out of narcissistic abuse, you might have been presented and exposed to your personality for the very first time. I know that a lot of us look at it as the narcissistic person exposed who they are, which is true. They've exposed how mean and nasty and rude they are. Thanks be to narcissistic people, we all now know what a narcissist is. They've exposed their cruel, malevolent, ugly ways. They're ugly people out there, aren't there? Selfish and all this stuff. However, narcissistic people also expose to you who you are, right? What do I mean by that? I don't mean by their name calling and their demeaning and devaluing. That's not telling you who you are. The relationship in general tells you who you are. It tells you that you're not like that. So what are you doing with a person like that? Yeah, the narcissistic in-laws that I dealt with for years telling me I'm selfish, I'm judgmental, blah, blah, blah. So mouthy, so arrogant. It's like they push each other with their words, and they get off on that. They think it's funny. Oh, go us. We're so tough. We're so bad. And through that process of trying to push me and bully me with their nasty name calling and this and that, it showed me, it exposed to me not only who they are, how ugly they are, but it exposed to me who I am. I'm nothing like that. I don't want to be a part of that. I'll never be a part of that family. I want nothing to do with them. I want nothing they offer. I want no part of that. Period. End. So in that way, I'm grateful and I'm thankful for this pillar of accepting my personality now. So we've got the first pillar, which is coping. Second pillar, which is your personality. The last pillar of your healing journey that I want to share with you is one of the most important, and that is your support group. Your support group needs to be people who validate your experience, needs to be people who understand. Listen, the wrong support group in this life, whether it's coming out of narcissistic abuse or any type of traumatizing event, the wrong support group can make things so much more worse on you. I know, I've been there. When I was dealing with the narcissistic in-laws, I tried to find support through the church that I was a part of in Southern California. No help whatsoever. As a matter of fact, it made it worse because their answer was, well, Kevin, just go love them. Perhaps you're not loving them enough. As if I wasn't hurting already from all the name calling, now I've got my own church, the church that I served on the worship team, the church where I served as a counselor, the church who I thought knew my heart, telling me I must have not been loving enough. How many of you have heard that in dealing with narcissistic people? How many of you have heard people say, well, you're just not loving them enough or understanding them enough? And the first thing you want to do is to say, excuse me? I've been doing nothing but loving those people, and it's not working. My love is backfiring on me. They don't want it, right? Bad support is going to keep you stuck, trying to love them, trying to fix them, trying to help them, trying to stay in the toxic relationship, and it's going to kill you. The worst part about the wrong kind of support is that it's going to enter you into a place of cognitive dissonance. Now, I've experienced this too. If you don't have the right support to help you to see the difference between you and them and how you need to stay away from them, it's going to confuse and blur the lines. You're not going to know the difference between what's good and what's bad anymore because you're being told that, well, maybe you're the problem and this and that, and it could be really hard to want to be around anybody. This is why your support group is super important. They need to be people who understand you. They need to be, and here's the question. You might be saying, but Kevin, well, how do you find people who understand you? Simple. It's people who listen to you. One thing I noticed about the church I went to, or even my family members, when I was trying to talk about the narcissistic in-laws that I was dealing with, one thing I noticed about all of them is none of them really listened. They simply stood there, heard a little bit of what I was saying, but mainly were waiting for their opportunity just to say something. The right support group is going to be a support group that pays attention to the details, that's listening to what it is you have to say. This is something that I really enjoy about what I do as far as being a coach, because when I take one-on-one calls, I'm really extracting the details. I want to know the details about what's taking place in your marriage. When somebody says they're dealing with a narcissistic husband or wife, I'm like, share with me, tell me what's going on. What are the things that are being said? Because I know how important it is. When you extract these things, it's getting it out of you. Back over a decade ago when I was healing from narcissistic abuse, I don't remember anybody trying to extract out of me these things. And so this is why it's super important. Your support group will make all the difference in the world of your healing. Your support group will make it so that you don't experience the cognitive dissonance as long as I did. Again, I didn't have a really good support group. This is why I started it. The Royal We became my support group too. That's why I'm here. Because I didn't have a good support group. I didn't have anybody who really helped me to articulate and extract the negativity I experienced. But that's exactly what I'm here doing right now with you. Schedule your one-on-one time with me. Also, the Royal We private membership is available for you, where you can have daily support, not only by me, but a growing community of people all over the world. So check that out. I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're new to it. Like this video, share it with somebody who needs to watch it. Check out one of these videos recommended by the YouTube algorithm. And I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We. Bye, everybody.